Hello, this is George Bayruthi from FS Securities, a stockbroking firm on the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia. Today I will show you how investors and traders can make money on our stock market. I will show you what is hot and what is not, and what you should hold and what you should fold. So enjoy the presentation and give us some feedback if you wish. Now, first of all, let me give you some global data. On Wall Street, the Dow was flat, as you can see, and the S&P 500 was also flat, and the Nasdaq was down 0.2%. In New York, BHP was down 0.7% and RIA was down 0.2%. In Europe, the Stoxx 50 index was down 0.2%, and in London the FTSE was down 0.4%, and in Germany was down 0.3%. Spot gold was trading at $1,289 an ounce in New York, steady. And US oil, that's the West Texas crude oil, at $51.59, down nearly 2%. And iron ore, imported for BHP, Rio and Fortescue, was steady at $73.45. And the Aussie dollar edged 0.4% to a 1 month peak above the 72 US. And by the way, Bitcoin now is at 3,511, 180 US down. Remember, Bitcoin was nearly 12,000 US November 2017. Well, a lot of people made money on Bitcoin, and a lot of people are now losing a lot of money on Bitcoin. The above chart is showing you the volume on our market, and you can see that over the last 2.5 weeks, the volume hasn't been as high as before Christmas. Really, I mean, at one stage in November and December, the market was actually at 2.5 billion stocks exchanged during the day, and we're still seeing the volume very low here. So Monday, today, we might see the big institution back in the market. On Friday, 25% of our stocks advanced and 25% declined, and 50% did absolutely nothing. At FS Securities, we have over the last 10 years designed a mechanical system based on technical analysis that include 8 technical indicators. Through them, we are able to create a strategy for the investor, for the conservative trader, and for the aggressive trader, and for the very aggressive trader. So what we see here, that's a weekly forecast. You're looking at the American market, bear, and neutral, and now we're starting to see a bit of bull for the very aggressive trader. So I mean, we still see a lot of neutral positions in the American market. Gold still bullish, but losing a little bit of the shine on the gold. And we asked you, as a matter of interest, about 2 weeks ago, to take some profit out of gold. We might see gold getting up to 1,300 and maybe find a resistance around the 1,300 US per ounce. Silver is still bullish again, and if you look at the Australian dollar, we've gone from bear, and we're starting to see a bull trend in the last week. So yeah, I think we might see the Australian dollar holding around the 72 US. Remember, it went down below the 70 for a short period sometime last week. Okay, here the Dow Jones. Again, we expect the Dow Jones with so many green candles. They are showing the uptrend. We might see actually a flattening out, and we might see that it may get to 24,427, and then it may find some strong resistance if it doesn't happen earlier. At the moment, the parabolic stop and reverse is bullish, the stochastic is bullish, and you can see that the 9-day moving average is actually trying to cross over the 21. This is a daily chart, and that actually is very positive. Whether it will cross it, then we might see a further upward movement. If it doesn't cross it and it comes back, then obviously we will see the flattening out, and we might see that the US market has actually, for the short period of time, flattening out. The mechanical system also looking at our sectors. We were, you can see here, a lot more red 4 weeks ago. Last week we started to see more blue. Blue means bull, bull means bullish, and that means the market is now moving upward. We've had a big drop in the market, nearly 6-7% around December, before December, and recovered, and so far in January the market is moving upward. This is actually the Australian market. You can see that we've had a good revival, and again looking at the 9-day moving average, having crossed above the 21, that's the black dotted line, that is a good sign for a bullish trend. However, as I said, you know, the blue lines, they are the Bollinger Bands, and the Bollinger Band works on the basis that 98% of all the closing prices have to be within the bands, the upper band and the lower band. Having now crossed above it slightly, we expect that the market is likely to come back in, because as I said, 98% of all the candles closing price will have to be inside the two bands, within the two band, inside the two bands. Looking at now at the stocks, again more red on this side here. That's the weekly forecast, and we start to see a lot more bull. There are a lot of trade for the very aggressive trader, with the exception of BHP. But then remember, BHP was down because it gave the dividends on Thursday last week, and that obviously reflected the price drop. But if you look at all these stocks, we like CBA, we like Newcrest Mines, we like Rio, even though Rio was down in London, in New York. We still like Woolworths, and Suncorp is our bearish stock. So what do you do with a bearish stock? You shorten it if you're trading shares, or you play the options game and you buy put options, or you take another strategy again in the bearish side. Anyway, you talk to us if you want to learn more about the options trade. Now, we also gave you on the 9th of January, we gave you this particular trade on options. We said that we think options target $34. That is our target for the closing price, which is about next week, next Thursday. And we said as long as the price of Woodside Petroleum remains between 34.01, 34 and 31, we are likely to make money. Now, at the moment, 3 days later, the market went up by 2.6%, and still within that range, because you can see here, this is your maximum profit. As long as it stays within 34.01 and 31.01, the premium that you received will remain in your bank account. What is the reward risk? Reward is 17 units, risk is 32. What does that mean? For one contract, you multiply 17 times 100, because each contract has got 100 shares, and then depends on the number of shares, a number of contracts that you take. So 17 times 100 for one contract, because each contract has got 100 shares, times the number of shares, and that will be your maximum profit in dollars. And if something goes outside the 34.01, and then obviously there is the maximum loss will be 32 unit times 100 times 100 again. Okay, what was the most active trades in our market on Friday? Treasury Wines had 4.3% and good volume as well. Costa Group, you may want to have a look at Costa Group, and you can see all these companies have actually had a good day, especially at the top. Telstra, as I mentioned, had 4 cents rise, 1.4%, with 16 million shares traded. Again, this is one more thing that I want to show you, that every day we put the stocks that had extra volume over and above the 50-day average volume. For instance, Newcrest Mines over 50 days had an average of 12.8 million shares. On Friday, it had 18 million shares exchanging hands. Then obviously that has to create an interest. Why people are buying Newcrest Mines? And I'll show you this every day. For Tescure, well, 20% above the average as well. And last but not least, Horizon had 5% above the average. On the downside, Sonic and Suncorp, 131% above the average, and Suncorp almost steady, the average, but still, you know, Suncorp has been bearish for a long time. And for the speculator and the gamblers, the mid cap, the small ones, GDI Property had 113% above the average, and Perseus Mining had 7% above the average. And again, for the top, you know, the people who speculate, these are shares on Friday had massive increase in their price. Because we don't like anything below 10 cents, we only highlighted the ones that happen to be above 10 cents. Here you've got Berkeley Energy, went up 63%, had 15.5 cents higher jump. So that's a big jump, 63%. iCar Asia, 27% rise, 16.5 cents. 22.5 cents. TZ, 18% increase, and Yandel and Intel IHR. These are the losers, of course. We'll skip that one here. Alright, finally, I don't know your financial circumstances, so obviously what I'm saying to you here is only of general advice only. I don't know, you know, what how well experienced in trading. So before you do anything at all from what I said, please talk to us or talk to your professional advisor. And by the way, if you have any questions, all you have to do is write to me, george@fssecurities.com.au. You can visit our website, www.fssecurities.com, and this is our landline, 1300 928 985, or you can call me on my mobile. If you ring from overseas, you put 61, you get rid of the 0, 411 25 9526. Finally, have a good day. Enjoy the week.